I remember the first time I was on a Facebook anime group when someone wrote a post describing how Legend of the Galactic Heroes is one of the best animes ever made. Initially, I was skeptical about the idea. An anime from the 80s being the best anime of all time? I wasn't buying it. Then I thought, let's read this post. And frankly, I don't remember much of what I read there, but I remember one specific point he made. The series has no villain. Then again, skeptical 14 years old me immediately thought, what the fuck, a war anime without a villain? This makes no sense whatsoever. And as I was scrolling down through the comments, someone wrote, yeah, Reinhardt reminds me of LOGH from Code Geass. And suddenly, I became interested. Cause at the time, and even now, I adored Code Geass. I loved LOGH as a character. And anytime I would hear about an anime or character that in any way connects to Code Geass, I would immediately jump on that series and watch it. And looking back now, I think to myself, if it wasn't for that one small comment, I would have dismissed one of the best animes of all time. I would have missed a masterpiece.
お前もか、フェニックス。それはいつの時代、どこの世界でも数限りなく繰り返されてきた動作であったかもしれない。人は常に手の届き得ぬものを追い続ける。その道型を一身に表したのではなかろうか。
What makes Legend of the Galactic Heroes so good? What makes it so praiseworthy? Legend of the Galactic Heroes is the story of the ongoing war between the Galactic Empire and the Democratic Planets Alliance. The story focuses on Reinhardt von Lohengrin, who represents the Empire, and young Winley, who represents the Alliance. While being enemies to each other, they are both the protagonists, and they're both portrayed as the good guys. Yes, you heard that right. The two main sides of the main conflict are both good guys. On a surface level, Legend of the Galactic Heroes is a war between two nations who are trying to assert their dominance over the other side. But on a deeper level, it's much more than that. It is an ideological war. The main question is, would you rather have an authoritarian, effective regime or have an incompetent democratic regime? From the Empire side, you have Reinhardt, who believes in competence, effectiveness, and results. Reinhardt becomes what you may call a tyrannical leader, but that would only be half the truth. Because Reinhardt genuinely cares about the people and the nation. Most of what he does is for the sake of the people. As the story progresses, you notice that Reinhardt produces better results and he is more liked by his people than the corrupt, democratically elected alliance leaders, who do not care about what is best for the nation, but only care about what will get them re-elected. Hearing this, you might already be swayed to the Empire's side of things. However, young Winley makes very strong arguments as to why democracy is the better regime. He argues that the free will of the people is the end goal in of itself, that our liberty of choice is what makes us human, and therefore he argues of governance by the people regardless of how effective it is. Being a soldier Young Winley believes soldiers in a democratic regime should only obey the democratically elected leaders. When presented with a chance of disobeying orders and securing a massive victory for his side, he dismisses it because he believes it is not his job as a soldier to make decisions, but only to execute on orders coming from the elected leaders, no matter how wrong they may be.
もし政府が無抵抗の民衆を虐殺するように命令したら、軍人はそれに従わねばならんと思うのかね。
そんなことは無論許されません。そんな非人道的な軍人という以前に人間としての尊厳を問われるような時には、まず人間であらねばならないと思います。その時は政府の命令であっても背かなくてはならないでしょう。でもだからこそ、それ以外の場合には民主国家の軍人として行動しなくてはならない時には政府の命令には従うべきだと思います。でなければ、たとえ人道のために立ったとしても恣意によるものだとそしられるでしょう。
On top of that, each individual character has their own personality. Each of the main characters, and even some of the less relevant characters, have their own backstories, their own goals, their own purposes that merge together to make what is Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It is one of those stories in which everyone who watches it has different preferences over different characters. Of course, the two main characters get more screen time and they get slightly more fleshed out than the rest of the cast. And even between the two main characters, Reinhard von Lohengrin gets a slightly more interesting backstory. However, that doesn't stop people from preferring other characters. While watching this at the same time as some of my online friends, my favorite character was and still is Reinhard, while a friend of mine preferred Shenka. A point that is even more surprising, there is a scene in the middle of the series in which Shenkov engages with Royenthal in close combat. And I remember my friend whose favorite character is Shenkov saying that he actually was worried that Royenthal was going to die and secretly wished that it ended without casualties, which is not a simple coincidence. Legend of the Galactic Heroes does a great job by showing you both the best and the worst in both sides, and making you constantly re-evaluate who you like, who you relate to, and who you are rooting for.
だけど人間は自分が悪であるという認識に耐えられるほどに強くはない。だからそれぞれの正義を信じて、それを他人に押し付けようとして戦うのさ。
絶対的な正義なんてありはしないということですか。
The first time I was watching it, I didn't like young Winley much. I honestly didn't like his disengaged attitude, and I didn't like how he doesn't take everything into his hand, like Reinhard does. But the more I seen of him, the more I understood his values and the more I liked him. Legend of the Galactic Heroes will make you doubt what you believe. It will not only present to you one side, but also the opposite. Unlike your average story in which your main character fights the evil bad guy, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I wonder how many times I will say Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Anyway, it will show you that in many times both sides have points, and both sides do make sense. I couldn't make this video without talking about the new version. As some of you may know, in 2018 a new adaptation of the series came out, and unlike many people, I actually think it's really good. And I think starting with the new one is a totally legit way to watch the series. One of its strongest points is the soundtrack. If you're someone like me who literally orgasms from a good audio, you will prefer this version. It is definitely not without a fault. However, I would recommend for anyone to begin with it. It's not finished yet, but I think 24 episodes are enough for you to decide whether you like it enough and switch to the older one, which is completely finished, or give up on it. Speaking of which, should everyone watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes? The answer is no. If you like long stories, political intrigue, ideological battle, strong characterization, Legend of the Galactic Heroes is for you. However, if you're looking for a hype, exciting, fast-paced, easy to understand anime, it is unfortunately not for you. Legend of the Galactic Heroes is one of my favorite series of all time. I watch it every other year. It is literally a show that changed my view on the world. What about you? Have you seen it? Have you heard about it? Leave your comments down below. Thank you for watching up until now. Press like and subscribe. I don't know who you are, but you have the opportunity to be my first ever subscriber. And for that, I thank you. That being said, I look forward to seeing you again. Sayonara.